This universal law works massively in your favor. Welcome to Sober Living Snippets, the podcast helping people over 40 live alcohol-free so you can improve your relationships, feel youthful again, and finally ditch regret and shame. Welcome. It's time for your daily snippet. Let's get this job done so we can get on with living the most amazing day of the year, and that would be today. And it is my favorite time of day, right now. Okay, let's go. This week, last couple of days at least, we've been talking about universal laws that apply to us whether we know about them, whether we agree with them, whether we believe in them, they apply to our lives. For example, the law of cause and effect. You're going to get what you put out there. The law of non-resistance. That one is just amazing. And I think a lot of people never even heard of it. But trust me, it exists. And as I said before, I encourage you to play with the law of non-resistance. Today, we are talking about the law of assumption. And I'm going to go ahead and guess you've never heard of this one. It's not very common. It is a law, though, and it's an amazing law. Actually, you've heard of it. You've just never heard it called the law of assumption. This is the idea that we need to adopt or assume the identity of the person that we want to become. Assume the identity of the person we wish to be. Now, of course you've heard of this. I mean, not that long ago, a couple months ago, I guess, I talked about, we went through a book called Be Your Future Self Now. Well, I mean, for crying out loud, the title of that book alone is The Law of Assumption, isn't it? And in that book, that's what Benjamin Hardy says. He says, just be the person that you are becoming. Be that future self. Envision who you want to be in the future. And then don't wait to be that person, but just assume that he doesn't use the words assume. We're using those words. But you start assuming that identity now. On a much cruder scale, we could call this fake it till you make it. But I mean, there's wisdom in that crude little saying. The thing about this law that is so powerful is that it gives us permission to be who we want to be right now. You don't have to wait around to become the person you're hoping to be, like, let's say next year, or in 6 months, or in 2 years. You can just wake up in the morning and say, today I am going to do everything in my power to be that person. What would they do? What would they say? How would they act? Would they drink in the middle of the afternoon, or would they not drink in the middle of the afternoon? Would they show up? Would they be helpful? Would they be kind? Are they prosperous? Who are they? Who is this person? And to the best of our ability, we can be that person now. We can assume that identity now. And and it feels awkward. Yeah, it feels awkward. That's okay. We're good with awkwardness. But we start to grow into the person much, much more quickly than if we're just waiting around. If it's just some sort of magical time in the future when we're going to be, I promise I'll be better in the future, never again, I promise I'll be better. No, instead, we start being the person now. And it's, in fact, if we don't, we're very unlikely to ever become that person. That's what this law is telling us. It's telling us there's no waiting. Like, if you want to be a better person, you're not going to suddenly be a better person at some future date. Just you do it now. You don't do it perfectly. You struggle with it because you've got old habits and gnarly things hanging on to you that you're trying to get rid of. Yeah, right? But you do your best and you grow into that person. Every day that you try to assume your new identity, you slowly smooth off the rough edges and slowly really do become that person. This is the law of assumption. Assume the identity that you would like to have. Isn't it beautiful? I love this law. I love all of these laws. Some of them are pretty harsh. But there it is. It's just, like the law of gravity is really harsh. So, embarrassed to tell you this, but I bought an e-bike. That's not what I'm embarrassed about. But I'm embarrassed to say I actually wiped out on my e-bike and I have bruised ribs. The law of gravity, right? I mean, I'm such a good person. I shouldn't have bruised ribs. I don't deserve that. Whatever happened to the law of cause and effect? I'm like, oh yeah, the law of gravity overrode the law of cause and effect. And even good people are subject to the law of gravity when they fall off of something. They will hit the ground, right? So these laws are, they're absolutely unsympathetic. It doesn't matter. So whether you believe in them or not, like I was saying, they do affect your life. But the beautiful thing about that is, if you want, you can get the benefit from them too, even without fully understanding them or even fully believing in them. You can just say, oh, I'll suspend disbelief and I'll give this a whirl, and the law will work for you. The law doesn't say, well, I'll only work if you believe in me, because again, gravity, right? It will work. So if you are trying to become a better person, aka a sober person who doesn't struggle with alcohol, keeps their word, who is shows up when they're supposed to show up, all those things that alcohol takes away from us, we become undependable, we let ourselves down, we let others down, we ruin our health, we do things that the person that we want to be would never do. Would never do. I mean, that's the most painful thing about drinking, isn't it? We're not the people we are. We just know we're not that person. I am not this person that let you down. I am not this drunk person laying under the table drooling or whatever you want, right? That's not me. That's not me. I'm a good person. I'm a nice person. I'm a person that will show up, that will love the people in my life that are here for me to love. I'm a good friend. I'm an intelligent person. I'm an educator. I'm all of these things. I am not this person passed out on the floor, and yet here I am passed out on the floor. Oh, well, what does that do? That is very, very, very disheartening. It's called cognitive dissonance, because you're like, wait a minute, I'm doing one thing and I believe in another. It's a very painful way to live. So when we're drinking, this is just one of many ways it's incredibly painful to have uncontrolled drinking in our lives. And so if you have in mind this ideal person, this person that you know in your heart you can be, this person that shows up, this person that's reliable, this person, then assume that identity right now. Today is the day. Now is the time. The day is now, right? The best day of the year is what day? Today. And the best time of day is when? Now. So assume the identity of the person you wish to be, keeping in mind that this is a universal law. You will thereby grow into that person as surely as you will fall off your e-bike if you lose your balance going down a hill like I did. Those are the laws. I don't make the laws. I just share them with you, but we can use them to our advantage. And so I give this one to you with much, much love. And I happen to know that today is a Friday. And so we're going to do some 3 do's. You know what your weekend do's are. I hope it's becoming a habit with you. If you're new around here, I see people downloading the Daily Do Tracker. Go, go, go. Here's the Daily Do lowdown for those of you who are fairly new. Download that tracker. It's in the show notes. You do each day, each daily do each day, or however that would go, that I give you. I give you a do, you do it, and then you mark it off on your tracker. And when you have 30 do's, you slide that into me via email, and I will send you not only back love, but I'm always sending you love, but I'll send you a little extra love that day. I will also put your name into a draw to have a free one-on-one coaching session with me. That's a coaching session, not a sales call. Please, people, please, coaching, advice. Bring me your problems. I'm good at solving problems. I really am. I'm also really good at helping people see their own lives much more clearly. All in 60 minutes. Trust me, you want this call. Anyway, what else? Okay, yeah. So knock off 30, get your name in the draw, and also I'll give you an honorary mention on the show, first names only, unless you don't want me to. I mean, if you don't, you can just say, look, Becca, I got 30 days, but don't say my name. I don't want to hear my name. And I'll call you Elmer or something else. There you go. You'll know who you are. Some people are pretty shy, I know. But either way, the most important thing about the Daily Do's is none of that. None of it. The most important thing about the Daily Do is that you're doing them because you've made a commitment to yourself. You've said to yourself, I'm going to do these things. I'm just going to try these. I'm going to pick up my snippet, which comes from Becca every day and takes about 10 minutes. 15 at the most. Okay, I admit it. I've gone to 20 now and then, not very often, but if I keep sidetracking, we'll be at 20 today, won't we? Anyway, you just pick up that snippet, which I hope with all my heart is inspiring and encouraging, coming from someone who struggled with alcohol her whole entire life till she was 52. That would be me. And then you get the inspiration. At the end of the snippet, you get a daily do that is sometimes hard, but always simple. So simple and hard are not the same thing, right? But always, always, always good for you. Will always, always, always help you to grow. And that's what we do here and on the snippets. We are here to grow because we know what? What do we know? Hands, somebody, please give me the hand. What do we know here? We know that if we're not growing, we are going backwards. There ain't no standing still. That's another law, by the way. We'll talk about that one next week. I'm going to talk about some more laws. I'm not done just because the weekend's here. So today's due in a second, but I'll remind you that the weekends are always the same. So on the weekend, your Saturday due is to drink an extra glass of water with intention. Like that might seem feeble. No, I'm talking with intention. Stand there with a nice big glass of water. It's got to be at least 8 ounces and drink the whole thing at some point during the day. And this one doesn't count towards your usual water. This is an extra glass of water, which means that if you usually drink no water with intention, you're going to have at least 1 glass of water. And then the Sunday due is to eat a piece of fruit. Again, very good for you. You know that saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, right? Remember that one? Right. So have some water, have some fruit this weekend. And other than that, just relax. I don't want you doing anything. I don't want you to have any stressful dues on the weekend. That is my goal, because some of the dues I give you are a little bit challenging. And that brings me to today's due. Are you ready? Okay. Today, I want you to, not me, yes, I always do the dues, but I've actually already done this today. I want you to pull out your journal or your notebook or whatever it is you write in and sit down, and we're going to go back to this challenge, kids. I want you to write down 10 things you love about yourself. 10. Now, why are we doing this? We've done something like this before. It doesn't matter. There's no rule that says we can't do the same do. I'll tell you why I'm doing this again. Because I'm talking to a lot of you lately, and I'm being brutally reminded of how bad we feel about ourselves when we are alcoholics, when we've struggled with alcohol, and when we've tried and failed. It just destroys our self-esteem. We feel like so crappy that it is incredibly powerful to just take a deep breath, feel your heart center, just sit there for a minute with your pen in hand, close your eyes with your journal, just take a couple of deep breaths, think of my voice, and write down 10 things that you, like about yourself, okay? We'll tone it down. Doesn't have to be love. If you do love it, that's great. 10 things about yourself that are good, like 10 things. Maybe no, I'm not even going to give you suggestions. You can do it. I want you to do it. So that's a little bit of a challenging do, but incredibly good for your psyche. Really, really good if you're planning to assume the identity of the person you want to be, because you can remind yourself of the things that you have now that are yours by nature. The good things about yourself that you are yours by nature, right? Okay, I think we got this. I think everybody's straightened out here. Everybody's on track. Those of you who are new, welcome to the Daily Dues. Welcome to the Snippets. And have an amazing, wonderful weekend. And I'll be back on Monday with more universal laws that can either make or break us. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back tomorrow so we can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.